Please welcome Matthias Hörling, Technopark Zurich Foundation.
Hello everybody, my name is Matthias Hörling from the Technopark Zurich Foundation. The Technopark Zurich Foundation is housing about 250 tech companies, a lot of them deep tech, and I have the pleasure to nominate cellvie here today. My job at the Technopark Jury is to onboard the companies, understand what they are doing and network between them. So why did I choose cellvie as the company to maybe break some new walls here? The reason is when they presented their idea to me about a bit more than a year ago, I just said, wow, this is possible. You can revive cells. I thought this can really break through and open up a whole new class of medicine. And I hope they can convince you as well. I leave the floor for that to Andreas Schüller, the CEO of the company. Thank you very much.
Breaking the wall to mitochondria as a new treatment modality. Alexander Schüller, cellvie.
Thank you. Mitochondria. Many of you will remember them as the powerhouses of the cell. But what fewer people are aware of is the mitochondria's role in our evolution. Because it was the mitochondria that ignited the emergence of complex life. Specifically, bacteria at the time, they merged with what was a very simple cellular organism. In that symbiotic relationship, the mitochondria would contribute energy. And that energy became the basis for cell functions to evolve. It was nothing short of the biological Big Bang. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that when mitochondria get damaged, cells die. There's more than 50 diseases associated with mitochondrial dysfunction. But mitochondria have been proven notoriously difficult to treat. At cellvie, we're developing mitochondria as a therapeutic entity to rescue mitochondria function. But before I elaborate, I'd like to share the story of Avery. Avery was born with a complex heart defect. In the procedure to save her life, the blood flow to the heart was interrupted, just like it is in a heart attack. She went into cardiogenic shock, so her heart was unable to continue pumping the blood. She had to be connected to ECMO to take over that role. With no treatment options, survival chances were slim. Fortunately, Avery was enrolled in a clinical trial ongoing at Boston Children's Hospital, receiving mitochondria transplantation to help her failing heart. Today, she's a happy and healthy 5-year-old, or to quote her mother, she's a rock star. Avery suffered from a condition known as ischemia-reperfusion injury. Sounds complex, is simple. It arises whenever the flow of blood is interrupted and subsequently reintroduced. Heart attacks, organ transplantation, stroke, medical conditions associated with ischemia-reperfusion injury. It's the world's #1 killer. What few people are aware of is that at the heart of the injury lies a mitochondria damaged. The mitochondria get damaged during ischemia, and so cells no longer have sufficient energy. That leads to deterioration of cellular function and ultimately cell death. But what if we could replace and augment the mitochondria that are damaged in conjunction with a heart attack? That's exactly what we've shown to be possible. We're transplanting healthy, viable mitochondria into the heart after a heart attack. But let me show you the difference that this technology can make. This is a mouse that was subjected to 2 hours without blood flow to the hind leg. You can see most of the function is lost. With mitochondrial transplantation, however, that leg could be saved. That mouse properly steps up on the treadmill. With safety and efficacy firmly established, my co-founder started a clinical trial in patients without treatment options, such as Avery. 16 patients have been treated, and when my colleagues analyzed the data from the first patients and compared it to their historical control group, they showed that 80% of these patients were able to recover their heart's function, whereas this was only possible in 29% of the cases beforehand. This is unheard of. We may have found the first true treatment to ischemia-reperfusion injury, and it's systemic, just like the disease itself. It's more than 3 million people each year suffering from ischemia-reperfusion injury in the US and Europe alone. The technology was developed at Harvard Medical School, and I joined this group of world-renowned experts to take the technology from bench to bed as a repeat entrepreneur in the medical space. We raised 5 million, licensed 7 patent families from Harvard, and moved the company to Switzerland. In the last 2 years, we've been building our team, focusing with them on productization, new product applications, particularly with merging our technology with gene therapy approaches, and on mitochondria manufacturing, a key component to get any medical innovation to market. Most notably, we developed off-the-shelf mitochondria. So my colleagues used autologous mitochondria, needing to prepare them freshly at the bedside. We've shown it's possible to ultimately freeze them, developing a product that seamlessly integrates into the clinical workflow. So in Q1 next year, we are ready to raise our Series A, in which we're targeting 35 million, to break down the walls to mitochondria as a new category of medicines. I want to leave you with a question that keeps us going every day. What if mitochondria's role in our evolution is yet unfinished? Thank you.
Okay, let's go 4 minutes. And we have a first question here. Please, Frank.
What are the stability of the mitochondria you apply? Can you apply only once, or do you need to repeatedly apply?
In the acute settings, such as in heart attacks, for example, it's a one-time treatment. So we treat immediately after the vessel is opened and then save the heart cells before they die.
And what is the stability, the half-life?
The half-life, we've shown 3 months so far, and we are ongoing in our shelf life stability product studies.
After you infuse was my question.
My bad. We've shown them to be present for up to 28 days, but we believe them to be gone within 6 months.
Okay, thank you.
You see, we have experts here. Next one is Martin. I see you at the back. Please, Martin, first.
As an off-shelf product, do you have any immunological problems? I mean, is it recognized as...
No, they're not. It's really interesting. It seems mitochondria are somewhat immune privileged. They don't exhibit any markers. We've done immunogenicity studies, and you've not seen any immune response. No.
Next question here. Then we will have here in the second row, please.
Martin Radic, Kammer Fund. Well, there's a tremendous market, obviously, you're addressing. Is there a production capability, or is it limited if you produce it like you have shown us?
I think it's going to depend who we would be able to partner with, because ultimately it's a function of resources and timely, let's say, mobilizing those resources.
Mm-hmm. Next question here, and then we'll have Stefan.
Hi, Shifa Abdin, Hanover Medical School. Coming from regenerative sciences context, and with the comment that was just made about the immunoprivileged feature of the mitochondria, what are your thoughts on the allogenic transplant and the IPS progress in mitochondria production in general? Because this would be the next step, I would assume.
Yeah, difficult for me to judge, I have to admit. We're working on really mitochondria as a therapeutic modality in and of itself.
Okay, that's Stefan. Will be the next, and then we will have Martin again, please.
I think the example of the baby was very impressive. It's 4 years old. How's the patent situation around what you're doing?
Yeah, patents first issued on the therapeutic use was 2015. So there's a little bit of more patent life left. We're trying to add another 5 years, obviously, for medical use. And we are continuing to develop patents specifically on the product, right? Because you cannot really protect the mitochondrion patent-wise, but the composition with which we make it shelf life stable, that is patentable, and that was only this year that we filed.
Mm-hmm. Martin again?
The indication you're working with is also addressed by ferroptosis inhibitors. Do you know how they compare in their success to actually rescue the cells?
No, I don't.
Oh, we don't want to finish on this. Do we have a last question? Yes, here.
Thank you so much.
Emma, please.
I would just like to ask about direct competitors like Minovia, others that maybe are taking very similar approaches. How do you distinguish yourselves?
We're actually really happy that we're not alone. So if we were the only ones working on mitochondria as a therapeutic entity, I think I would be really concerned. So right now, I really don't view them as competitors. I really view them as the ones with a common goal, because if one succeeds, we all will. But we do differentiate in the way that we use mitochondria. For example, Menovia uses mitochondria to enable stem cell therapy. So the ultimate therapeutic entity is not the mitochondrion, but the cell that was augmented with the mitochondria. And then there's others that use mitochondria directly, and it's going to come down to product quality, speed to market, the ability to partner with the right and large commercial partner, and then it's not a winner-takes-it-all market, right? We've heard it before. It's 3 million people each year. I think there's room for all of us.
And that's 0 minutes left. I'm sorry, Frank, we cannot take the... Yeah. Okay,
Sorry.
well, anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.